are you? Welcome to Gold Nugget, JAW_success. If this is your first time to the channel, let me welcome you. If you have already subscribed, let me thank you for joining me on this growth path. It's a growth path because I'm always moving, always traveling, always going somewhere, and leaving these nuggets with you, I hope, is giving you a train of thought that inspire you to do something different, something new, something wonderful. Well, today my nugget is: what you don't create, you allow something else to replicate. And as I sat in church and thinking, the thought just came to mind that God is a creative being, and everything He creates, He gives the potential or the ability to create something else of its own. Hence, every one of us are creative beings. However, because we are creative beings, it means that we must invest our time in creating things. If we do not allow ourselves to create things, what we allow is for things to replicate in our lives. And anything that replicates is never a true version of the original. So we can sit around and have individuals taking our spot because we never stepped out to create something that caused us to be the progenitor, the one who is the monotheistic geos, the one who creates everything from the beginning. And so, as I ponder upon that, I realize that the adversary, the devil, he creates nothing. He replicates things. And everything that he replicates is of a negative version of that which it was originally intended to be. So Jesus creates things new. The Bible lets us know that even the very day He creates new. The blessings we receive, they are new every morning. So much so that the psalmist says, "Great is thy faithfulness." What am I saying to you? I'm saying to you that because we are creative beings, we are chips, as it were, of the old block. So if we do not allow ourselves to be creative, we give the adversary, the dragon, the devil, the opportunity to reign in our lives. So we are the ones who God expects to create our joy. He gives joy, but He wants us to personalize it by creating our joy, creating our happiness, creating our peace, creating the business, creating the opportunity for ourselves to get and to be wealthy. Now, if we do not put in the effort to be creative, what we have done is allow stuff to replicate in our lives. And as I said before, the devil creates nothing. So instead of joy, he will replicate something that is the opposite of joy, misery. He will replicate something that is the opposite of being wealthy and rich, poverty and lack. If we do not create the opportunity to be a blessing, the adversary creates the opposite of that and causes us to be a curse. What am I saying to you? If we do not allow ourselves, or force ourselves rather, to be creative, then we lower ourselves to the position of the devil. We give the devil the free reign over our lives. So let me say it this way. If you are broke today, if you don't have any money, if you're sick, these things are not from God. And so if we continue to live as though they are from God, what will end up happening is that we, from year to year, we will become poorer, we'll become sicker, we become individuals who suffer from mental and psychological health. We will suffer from depression and all of these maladies because we are allowing stuff to be replicated in our lives. Let me say another way. Anything that is replicated can be reversed. The things that are created cannot be reversed. They can be stopped because guess what? We can give up making money. We can come up with a new product, but you can't reverse the new product that you come up with. You can stop make it, or you can basically improve upon it and don't need the old version anymore. So the things we create cannot be reversed. They cannot be destroyed. They can be stopped. But the things that are replicated, they can be reversed. So getting up this morning and being poor, getting up this morning and being sick, getting up this morning and being depressed, getting up this morning and being sad is a trigger of something that the enemy replicated negatively in your life. So in order for that to change, you or I will have to create something. So my nugget for you today is, can you create an opportunity to smile? Can you create an opportunity today to be a giver? Can you create an opportunity today to be kind, to be friendly, to be wiser? Because ignorance is a replication, or it is the opposite of wisdom, of knowledge rather. Yeah? Ignorance is the epitome of sin, because guess what? Anybody who change their behavior, they change their attitude, they change their position, they go after the mark. And what is sin? Sin is the missing of the mark. What mark? The mark of God for us to be healthy, for us to be prosperous, to have a good mind. This is how the scripture said. The scripture says, I wish above all that you will be prosperous, and that you will not just prosper in body, but in soul and in spirit. Because that's how God does. He creates the opportunity for us to be who we want. But when we allow ourselves to be to not be creators, we allow things to replicate. So 10 years from now, if you do not create something starting today, you are going to be broke if money is the problem. 10 years from now, if you do not create a better or a healthy mindset, develop a healthy mental health, what will happen is you will allow sickness and stuff to replicate in your life to the point where you add stuff to it, where you need to go to the doctor for therapy, you need tablets to take to go to bed and to sleep. If you do not create the body you want, you'll get the body that the devil is replicating. And I'll go as far as saying this way: the devil doesn't create anything, he replicates. And because he replicates, think about it, he will replicate a man who get up and say, today I'm a woman. Or he will replicate a woman who get up today and say, I'm a man. And because we are in an inclusive society, we have to accept them as is. But that's not how God creates anybody. God creates us to be in his image. And in his image, we do not switch personality. We do not switch the creative being that God make. That's why we can change up the outside and cut off some of the appendages and put on appendages and do all of that kind of stuff. But we do not create a new being. What we have done is replicate something that is not of God. And I will say to you in this nugget today, unless any of us become creators, unless any of us push forward to become that individual that operates in the power of our creative, ingenuitive skill that God has embedded in us, we will always be allowing stuff to replicate. The trees create new branches. Animals create babies. In fact, I will say to you, the child you have, if you're a parent, is not a replication of you. To show you that God will not have them to be a replication of you, He gave them their own fingerprint, their own personality. My son and my daughters, they are not a replication of me. I am this way and they are totally another way. Yeah? I could easily say Jael is no resemblance of me except for a physical appearance. Chantal, totally different person. Tiffany, totally different person. And I could go on and on and on. Totally different, because God gave them their own personality, their own drive, their own dream, their own desire to be different individuals. And I'm saying to you today, if you are going to come out of what you're in, come out from where you are, you're going to have to be a creator, because only creators change things. Things that are replicated do not change things. They just basically put another spin on it. And that spin is oftentimes not good for our mental health, for our spiritual health, for our financial health, because that's how the enemy works. The adversary, he replicates things that kill us. For example, he replicates a disease in our body because our great-great-grandmother have it, our grandmother had it, our mother had it, and then he tells us, because all of them had it, you must have it, because he's replicating things. But that's not how God works. Anything that is created is permanent unless God stop it. But anything that is replicated, it can be stopped. So cancer can be stopped. Diabetes can be stopped. All of these things can be stopped. You know why? Because we are creative beings. If there is anything I'm imploring you to do today, it's be a creator. This is JAW saying, by all means necessary, create a way out. God bless you. Bye.